Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Chaitanya Charitāmrita overview class. Thank you for joining in. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Jnanatirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नितिनामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone. We are discussing from Chaitanya Charitāmrita Adi Leela. We are on last chapter. In last class we discussed how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he started the civil disobedience movement, and he told all the residents of Navadvip that to bring torches, because Chand Kazi he stopped congregational chanting. He stopped all the Hindus and threatened them that if you do this again, I'll make you Muslim. I'll seize all your property, I'll make you Muslim. All the devotees, all the residents, they went to Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu he said, don't worry, today I'll kill all the Muslims. And then he later told all the devotees, all the residents, you bring torches, today we'll go and march to the house of Kazi. And all the residents, all the Navadvip, devotees of Navadvip, they came marching and they went to Kazi, and there was a wonderful discussion which happened between Mahaprabhu and Chand Kazi, and ultimately Chand Kazi became devotee. He revealed his dream where Narsimhadev came and sat on his chest, and he just gave warning to Chand Kazi, and ultimately he became devotee. Then Kaviraj Goswami continues further discussion about the pastimes of Srivas Angan. So one day when Mahaprabhu was dancing, the son of Srivas Thakur, he left his body, and Mahaprabhu, he could sense it, because Srivas Thakur, he didn't allow anyone to cry. But Mahaprabhu could sense, and then he went to that small child and he brought him back to life, and then small child spoke the philosophy, and ultimately everybody was pacified. So we'll continue from 230th verse. Kaviraj Goswami describes, thereafter, Lord bestowed his benediction to Narayani. He gave his remnants to Narayani. So Kaviraj Goswami describes about Narayani in the earlier chapter also. In the 8th chapter, there Kaviraj Goswami says, Narayani Chaitanyera Uchishta Bhajan Taragarbhe Janmila Shri Dasa Vrindavan. So Narayani, she gave birth to Vrindavan Das Thakur, the famous author of Chaitanya Bhagavat. So there Prabhupada describes who was this Narayani. So Krishna, when he was a child, he was nursed by a lady called Ambika, and she had a sister, her name was Kilimbika. So Kilimbika, she became Narayani, and she used to eat the remnants of the food left by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Kilimbika, she was Narayani, she was the niece of Srivas Thakur. So that's how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave mercy to Narayani, and because of that mercy, Vrindavan Das Thakur, he became such a great devotee. One time, Srivas Thakur, he had a tailor and he was a Muslim. He was a Malechar. He was a meat eater. But interestingly, anyone who is dear to a devotee, anyone who serves a devotee, he becomes dear to the Lord. So although he was a Muslim, but because he was serving Srivas Thakur, Mahaprabhu showed him mercy. And he showed him his own form of Krishna. And being merciful to him, when he showed this form, this person, he became so very joyful, ecstatic. He said, I have seen. And he started dancing in ecstasy. Dekhinu, dekhinu, boili, hoila pagal. Preme nritya kore, hoila Vaishnava agal. He became a best devotee. Preme nritya kore, he started dancing in ecstasy. So that was the glory of devotee of the Lord. Anybody who is connected to a devotee of the Lord, he gets mercy of the Lord. Prabhupada writes that why this tailor got mercy of the Lord. So one thing was he was connected to Srivas, and other, very, very important. One day, as Lord Chaitanya was dancing, he appreciated the dance of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that created sufficient sukriti so that he could get the mercy of the Lord. So therefore, the whole process of bringing people close to Krishna consciousness is somehow or other, if we can make them appreciate any limb of Krishna consciousness. Oh, ye Hare Krishna wale na acha prasad khilate. Oh, itne mandir mein it is very clean. They have nice worship of the deities. Anything. That is Sukriti. Conscious appreciation of any of the limb of bhakti. That is Sukriti. And that is important. And that will bring them close to Krishna. And because you are serving Srivas Thakur, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells in the Madhya Lila, in the pastime where Amogha, he criticized the Lord, and then he was ultimately infected with cholera. He was about to die, and then Mahaprabhu revived him. Amogha was the son-in-law of Sarvam Bhattacharya. So Sarvam Bhattacharya was saying, oh my Lord, why did you revive him? He should have died. Sarvabhauma grihe dasa dasiya kukur sehamora priyanna jana rahudur. There Mahaprabhu says, even a dog, a servant, and a dog in the house of Sarvabhaum is also dear to me. What to speak of anyone else? So if we can become dear to devotees of the Lord, that is sufficient to get mercy. And what to speak of if we ourselves practice bhakti with all attention? But if we become dear to some devotee and then devotee prays for us, that will be much more, beneficial. That will attract Krishna's mercy more. That's why all the devotees, all the acharyas, they've always told repeatedly in their bhajans, in their prayers, O he Vaishnava Thakur Dayara Sagar Edase Koruna Kori. Oh Vaishnava, please show mercy. So that is our hope. Then, Mahaprabhu, he would go into ecstasy many times. One day, Lord asked Srivas Thakur that, please give me a flute. And Srivas Thakur, in that mood only, said, the flute is stolen by the gopis. So all these wonderful pastimes are happening there. And then Srivas, he would speak wonderful pastimes of Vrindavan, and that would make Mahaprabhu very happy, jubilant. And he would say, please go on speaking, go on speaking. And he would describe more and more. The more he would describe the pastimes of Vrindavan, the more Mahaprabhu would be happy. And Srivas, he described all the various seasons of Vrindavan and how different pastimes are being performed by Krishna in Vrindavan. He described the story of how Krishna, he was in the forest and he drank honey, and then the celebrated Rasa dance was described, and then how Krishna and the gopis, they would enjoy their beautiful pastimes in Yamuna. And Mahaprabhu, he would be so very happy. Go on speaking, go on speaking. That's how he would say. So hearing these pastimes, we should understand who is hearing these pastimes. People, they say Ras Leela is a amorous pastime between an ordinary boy and girl. Who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? He is the greatest of the sannyasis. And if Mahaprabhu is hearing the pastimes of Ras Leela, that means they are beyond anything of this world. There is not a tinge of anything mundane in the Ras Leela. Because we have heard Ras Leela, we have some conceptions of Ras Leela based on our own conditionings. Because we are infected by lust. So whenever a boy and girl come together, that means there must be some lusty pastimes. But the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, they are not material. It is all spiritual. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shad Goswamis, and all the great devotees of the Lord, they would hear. And that's how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would speak with Ramananda Rai. And then Mahaprabhu, he would also perform various dramas. He would go to the house of Chandrasekhar Acharya and he would perform various pastimes, dramas. Sometimes he would play the role of Rukmini, sometimes Durga, Lakshmi, Yogamaya. Mahaprabhu would play various pastimes. One day, as Mahaprabhu, he was dancing in ecstasy. A lady came and she touched the feet of Mahaprabhu. He caught hold of the feet of Mahaprabhu and took the dust. And Mahaprabhu became so very unhappy. Srila Prabhupada writes there in the purport that holding of the feet of a great personality is very good for the person who takes the dust. But here we can see the example of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. A Vaishnava does not allow anyone to take his dust. Why? He says, one who takes the dust of a great personality transfers his sinful results, sinful activities to that great personality. So unless one is strong enough, he will suffer the sinful reactions. So therefore, as a rule, one should not allow others to touch their feet. And of course, we should not feel ourselves so great that, oh, you take my dust, you will get purified. No. And then Prabhupada writes, as far as possible, no outsider should be allowed. Immediately, Mahaprabhu ran and jumped into Ganga to purify himself of the sinful reactions. So who is doing this? The Supreme Lord who can purify the entire cosmic manifestation. He is jumping. Yasya khilami vahabi sumangalai vacho vimishra gunakarma janmabhi prananti shumbhanti punanti vai jagat yastad virakta shavashobhanamati. Bhagavatam describes just by hearing the name, form, pastimes of the Lord, the entire universe gets purified. What to speak of when Lord is personally present? How can he get contaminated? But here we have to understand, Mahaprabhu is performing the role of a preacher. How a preacher should be careful. Therefore, he is not allowing anyone. And then Prabhupada writes, a guru, he can allow his initiated disciples only, not everyone. That night, Mahaprabhu stayed at the house of Vijay Acharya, and the next morning he came back to his home with all the devotees. And then the last section of this Adi Leela, where Kaviraj Goswami describes the pastimes, the events which led to Mahaprabhu taking sannyas. One day, Lord Chaitanya, he was absorbed in the pastimes of Vrindavan. He was in the mood of Radharani and he was absorbed in the mood of Krishna. And he was feeling separation from Radharani and the gopis. And he started calling Gopi, Gopi. At that time, a student came. And he was not a devotee. He was just a smart Brahmana student. He wanted to learn. When he heard Mahaprabhu chanting the names of Gopi, Gopi, he became very, very surprised and said, why are you chanting the name of Gopi? What pious activity will get? What pious result you will get? Chant the names of Krishna. Prabhupada writes there two very important points. Vaishnavera kriya mudra vigyeha na bujhaye. No one can understand the activities of a pure devotee. And for that matter, we should not judge any devotee unless we are in a position and a situation which is, which is forcing us to judge someone. We should not do it. It is not our business. So we should not indulge in this habit of judging people, giving our advice, interfering in other people's lives. We should only interfere and give our judgment or opinion or suggestion if only if somebody asks us. Otherwise, it will not be taken seriously and we will be disturbing that person. So therefore, we should not judge anyone and we should not give judgments. Judging others and giving judgments, they are both very, very dangerous. So therefore, Prabhupada writes, nobody should judge others. Just like this student, he was judging Supreme Lord. Why are you chanting the names of Gopi? So if we are not able to understand the activities of some of the devotees, we should just leave the place or ask somebody superior if we are really getting disturbed by the actions. We should not ourselves give decisions. And then Prabhupada writes, this student, he was a neophyte. He was a smart Brahmana. And he understood that chanting of the holy names of the Lord gives piety. But this is an offensive attitude. What is that offense? To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as spiritual activities, Karma Kand. Dharma, Vrata, Tyaga, Hutadi, Sarva, Shubha Kriya, Samyam, Apipramadah. So we should never ever equate chanting of the holy names to a pious activity. It is not a pious activity, it is a devotional activity. To bring the holy name down to a level of piety, it is an offense. Because holy name is transcendental. All the punya of this world is material. We should never ever do any of the devotional activities to become pious. We will get the results of everything by practice bhakti, but we should not do it with that intention. Yat karma bhir, yat tapasa, jnana vairagyaschayat, yogena dana dharmena, shreyo bhiritrairapi, sarvam mad bhakti yogena, mad bhakto labate anjasa, swarga apavarga madhama, kathanchid yadivanchati. Whatever you want, you will get by the practice of bhakti, but that should not be our goal. That should not be our intention. Krishna willing, he will give us. We should not do bhakti with that intention. It is an offense. We should only be practicing bhakti to serve Krishna. So therefore, this foolish student, as he spoke this, Lord became very angry, and he, in the mood of Srimati Radharani now, he is rebuking Krishna. And he took the stick and he chased that Brahmana boy away. Just like when Uddhava came to meet, to give message to all the gopis in Vrindavan, Radharani and all the gopis, when they saw as Uddhava came, a bumblebee came. And Radharani started speaking in so many ways, criticizing Krishna. That's how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also criticized Krishna in the mood of Srimati Radharani. What type of Krishna is, what type of your master Krishna is? He killed Bali by cheating, and he left all of us. And Radharani was criticizing in so many different ways. He is just looking for enjoyment with all the young women, young ladies of Mathura. That's why he has left all of us. So Krishna was in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in that mood. But when Mahaprabhu was in the mood of gopis, then all the student community, he judged him. This student, he's judged Mahaprabhu. And when Mahaprabhu chased him away, this student, he ran away in fear, and Lord also was running behind him. So all the devotees, they caught hold of the Lord and brought him back, pacified him. The student ran away in the assembly of all the other students. There are so many thousands of students who are studying Vedas. Prabhupada, catches hold of this point. Schooling is meant for Brahmanas. Prabhupada writes, what was the Vedic way of, education? Prabhupada writes, previously there was no question of schooling for Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras. Only Brahmanas were given Vedic education, the education of the Vedas. And Kshatriyas, they had some information, some knowledge, but they were mostly trained in warfare. Vaishyas, they were trained in business. So Prabhupada writes, at present, everyone goes to school, without any consideration of their psychophysical nature, and everybody is given same type of education. So the modern education system, it is like, various animals are standing. A fish is there, a bird is there, elephant is there, monkey is there, and then there is a tree. And the education system says, okay, now we'll have test. Who will climb the tree first? So different people have different capacity. You cannot just judge everyone by just one way. Everybody is expert in different fields. Everybody has a different nature, different psychophysical nature, different bodily structure. So how can you judge everyone in the same scale? But that is the modern education system. Vedic education was not like that. So therefore, Prabhupada writes, no one knows what the result will be, and therefore the result is unsatisfactory. And people are becoming hippies now in Western world. And then Prabhupada writes, educational institutions should not teach technology. Technology is not a Brahminical education. It is a Shudra education, craftsmanship, which is the only thing which is taught nowadays. Real education means the education of the scriptures, Vedas. That's what Krishna also tells in Bhagavad Gita, 13th chapter, 13.8 to 12. What are the 20 points of knowledge? He doesn't mention any of the educational skills which are taught in today's age. What is included in the education? Amanitvam, Madambhitvam, Ahimsa, Shanti Rajavam, Acharyopasanam, Shaucham, Sairyam, Atma Vinigraha, Indriyartheshu, Vairagyam, Anahankara Evacha, Janmam, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam, Asaktir, Anabhisonga, Putradara, Grihadishu, Nityam Cha, Samachittatvam, Ishtanishtopapatishu, Mai Chananya Yogena, Bhaktir, Avyabicharani, Vivikta Desha Sevitvam, Aratir Jana Samsadi. अध्यात्म ज्ञान नित्यत्वम तत्व ज्ञानार्थ दर्शनम एतद ज्ञानम इति प्रोक्तम अज्ञानम यदतो अन्यथा. After describing 20 points, he says, whatever I have described so far, it is knowledge, and everything else is ajnanam. So what are we being taught in our educational institutions? All ajnan. Of course, that agyan is required to live in this world, but that is not the real gyan. That's what Ishopanishad also says. Vidyam cha yastat ubhayam. We need both vidya and avidya. Avidya means the knowledge of this world, and vidya means knowledge of the spiritual world. So what is being taught nowadays is knowledge of this world. Nobody is teaching the knowledge of the spiritual world. Nobody is teaching Paravidya. Everybody is teaching Aparavidya only. And the result is, people are getting frustrated, depressed, anxious, no moral values, society is breaking. So that's what Prabhupada writes. Then Prabhupada says, in Krishna consciousness movement, we are trying to create Brahmanas. So this one student came And he started telling everyone what Nimai Pandit did. And then everyone, all the students, they became angry and they started criticizing Nimai Pandit. They said, Nimai Pandit, he has spoiled the entire country. He wants to strike a caste Brahmana. He has no fear of principles, religious principles. If he does it again, we will retaliate and we will also strike him. That's how they all started planning. What does he think about himself? What kind of important person he is? So that's how they all start conspiring against Nimai. Prabhura nindai sabar buddhi hoila nash, supatitha vidyakarao na hoye prakash. Anybody who criticizes Supreme Lord, he loses all his intelligence. Prabhura nindai sabar buddhi hoila nash. Because they all criticized Supreme Lord, all of them, their intelligence was lost. Supatit vidya karao. Supatit, although they were very, very learned scholars, but they lost the essence of all the knowledge. That is to please the Lord. That was lost. Ayu shriyo yasho dharmam lokanashi evacha hanti shreyamsi sarvani pumso mahad atikramaha. 10th canto, it is described, if somebody offends great personalities, what all things he lose? His life goes down, he loses all the wealth, fame, dharmic principles, all the auspiciousness is gone. Pumso mahad atikramaha. Prabhupada writes, these Brahmanas, they were mayaya aparita jnana. They were very learned in the scriptures, but they were inimical to the Supreme Lord. So therefore, even if somebody is very learned in the material world, but if somebody is not accepting the Lord, all his intelligence is just waste. And then Prabhupada writes, only if somebody surrenders to the spiritual master, then only he can get the right understanding. Yasya deve para bhakti yatha deve tatha guru tasyaite kathitahi artha prakashante mahatmanaha. If somebody surrenders to the spiritual master and offers obeisances unto him and serves him, all the imports of the Vedic literatures are revealed in the heart. He quotes a verse from Prahlad Maharaj. Iti pumsar pita Vishno bhaktischainava lakshanam kriyeta bhagvat adhya tanmanne adhitam uttamam. He says, Prahlad Maharaj is saying, anybody who follows this Navvida Bhakti, Shravan, Kirtan, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada, Sevanam and all that, and serves the Lord, these are the symptoms of Bhakti. He is considered to be the best person. On the other hand, if somebody is very learned, very educated, very wealthy, very pious, austere, what is the use if he is not using all that in service of Krishna? Aradhito yadi hari tapasa tatah kim, naradhito yadi hari tapasa tatah kim. What is the use of all this? Idam hi pumsa tapasa shrutasya va shvishtasya suktasya cha buddhi dattayoh avichuto arthak kavibhirnirupito yaduttama shloka gunanuvarnanam. If somebody is expert in chanting mantras, learning all the scriptures, very intelligent scholar, but if he is not using all that in glorifying the Lord, what is the use? So therefore, Sridhar Swami comments that one must surrender to the spiritual master and learn from him. And then Prabhupada writes, it is not a fact that only one who diligently pursues academic career, he can become a devotee. No, externals are not required. Even a illiterate person can become a great devotee of the Lord. Nalam dvijatvam devatvam rishitvam va suratmaja prinanaya mukundasya na vrittam na bahugyata na danam na tapo na ijya na shaucham na vratani cha priyate amalaya bhaktya. Krishna is not pleased by any of the external display of our powers. He is only pleased by bhakti. So if one has faith in the Lord and if one has faith in the Guru, then he will advance in spiritual life. शब्द ब्रह्मणि निष्णातो न निष्णायात परे यदि श्रमस्तस्य श्रमफलो हि एद अधेनुम इव रक्षतः. Prabhupada quotes this from Srimad Bhagavatam 11:11-18. If somebody is learned in the scriptures but he is not a devotee of Vishnu, what is the use? It is all useless waste of labor. बड़ा बड़ा सब याद कर लिया, all the verses of the scriptures, but he is not serving the Lord. What is the use? It is like if somebody has a cow but doesn't give milk, you have to take care of the cow, but you will not get anything. That's the example Prabhupada gives here. So therefore, if somebody is not surrendered to Guru, it is all his knowledge, all his endeavor is waste. So all this student community, they became very proud and they did not become submissive. They started speaking about this Nimai Pandit anywhere, everywhere, and they were laughing at him. And as a result, they started losing all the credits. Lord Caitanya, he became very sad because he's omniscient. He understood what is happening. He said, I have come to rescue all of them, and they are going more and more into hellish situations. Yata adhyapakara tara shishyagan dharmi karmi taponishta nindaka durjan. So everybody, so-called professors, their students, Mahaprabhu was thinking, all these people, they follow dharma, artha, kama, but they're blaspheming me. How will they get delivered? How will they get benefited? Prabhupada writes, here is the depiction of materialists who have no knowledge of bhakti. They may be doing so many different activities of dharma. They will follow austerity. They will do penance. They will do donation. What is the use of all this if we are not serving Krishna? It is all shrama evahi kevalam. So therefore, we should understand, even in the devotional circle, whatever capacity, whatever services we are doing, why we are doing, that is very important to understand and think of. Am I doing all these services so that I can be recognized as a great devotee, or I'll be known as a very, very wonderful, humble devotee, very, very scholarly devotee, very great manager? Why? What is our intention? I want to please Krishna. That should be the intention. Otherwise, Shramayeva Kevalam, it will be waste. Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya Jati Shastram Japa Tapa Apranasyeva Dehasya Mandanam Lokaranjanam. If there is no devotion, whatever you do, it is like decoration of a dead body only. Just waste of time. So Mahaprabhu is thinking, Ei sab mora ninda aparadha hoite, ami na loyaila bhakti na pare laite. So he's thinking that if I do not induce them to practice bhakti, who will do it? And the offense they are committing, they will not get bhakti. So he started thinking that I have come to deliver everyone, but they are going away. Opposite has happened in Chaitanya Bhagavat. Kaviraj, Vrindavan Das Thakur also says that Mahaprabhu is thinking that I have made a medicine of Pippali Khanda, which is used to reduce the cough. But instead of reducing it, it is increasing the cough. I have come to deliver everyone and bring everyone close to bhakti, and they are offending me, and as a result, they are going away from me. What is the use? They are going more in hellish situations. Nistarite aila mami hoila viparit. Ei sab durjanera koiche hai bekohit. So he's thinking, that's how Lord is so very eager and thinking so very gravely how to deliver these fallen people. He is more eager to take us back than we are eager to go back. He is thinking in so many different ways, planning. How will they get delivered? How these people who are so fallen, absorbed in sense gratification, doing sinful activities, how will they get delivered? So therefore, Chaitanya Charitamrita is the consciousness of Krishna. Very nicely, very wonderfully, what is Krishna thinking? Bhagavad Gita is words of God. Bhagavatam is activities of Krishna. Chaitanya Charitamrita is thoughts of Krishna. Chaitanya, consciousness of Krishna. What does Krishna think? He has only one thing in the mind: how to bring these rebellious souls back to the spiritual world. That's why he appears in this world, to reclaim the fallen conditioned souls. That's why he performs so many pastimes. That's why he brings scriptures. That's why he sends his devotees. That's why he comes as Archa Avatar. That's how he comes himself. Yad yad dhiyata urugaya vibhavayanti tattad vapu pranayase sadanugrahaya. He takes avatar in every species of life. He doesn't want to miss on anyone. That's the glorious position of Krishna. So Mahaprabhu is thinking, how will they get delivered? I have come to deliver. Nistarite aila mami haila vipri. That is opposite only happening. Kya ulta ho raha hai pura? You know, ye durjan lokera. How will these rogues, how will they get, delivered? Ama ke pranati kare hoye papakshay. Tabe se ihara bhakti loyaile loy. If all these people, if they practice bhakti unto me, ama ke pranati kare, if they offer obeisances unto me, what will happen? Their papa will get destroyed. And then I can give them bhakti. Because a sinful soul cannot take to bhakti. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also. That a person who is sinful, the firm determination to practice bhakti cannot arise in the heart of a sinful soul. So therefore, we have to learn to be sinless. So Mahaprabhu is thinking that if these people, they offer me obeisances, they will get purified. And then I'll induce them to practice bhakti. More ninda kore na kore namaskar. Now Krishna is so very wonderful. He's not giving up on any of us. He's not thinking, "Ye log abhi maan nahi rahe, chhod do." That's what many times we think. If we tell somebody once, twice, three times, and if he's not ready, we give up. Chodo abhi kya? We have another things to do. एक तो मैं उद्धार कर रहा, एक तो मैं उसको दे रहा हूँ, on my own I am giving something, not just in the sense of uddhar, but I am spending my time and energy and giving, and I am trying so much, still he is not taking. Okay, Krishna never gives up on anyone. That is the hope. He's trying since millions of lifetimes, still he has not given up. Every lifetime he comes, every lifetime he says something, every lifetime he sends somebody, please take now. And we have always rejected him. But Krishna is such a tolerant person. He is not giving up. He is saying, Moraninda karoye na kore namaskar, ei sab jiver avashya karibe. And he becomes more determined. I will have to deliver these people. So what he did? Ataeva amashyami sannyasa kariba. Sannyasi buddhi more pranata hoiba. Now, what an amazing thing Mahaprabhu is doing here. Who is he? Supreme Lord himself. He is Akhil Koti Brahmanda Nayak. He is Lakshmi Pati. And to bring a wretched, conditioned soul back to him, he is ready to give up all his opulence. And he is ready to become a sannyasi. Sannyasa koribo ateva ami avashya sannyasa. Therefore, certainly I shall accept sannyas. And because when I take sannyas, naturally they will come and offer obeisances. So if Lord is ready to give up all his wealth, all his prestige, all his opulence, to bring a insignificant conditioned soul back to him. So how much we should be grateful for whatever we have received in Krishna consciousness. We have not given anything. Well, we have not given up anything. Still we are proud. And Krishna, who has everything, who is actual proprietor, he is giving up everything and becoming a sannyasi, moving like a beggar, begging, please take mercy. And still people would criticize him. Srila Prabhupada, when he went to America, when he went to London, reporters asked, Swamiji, why have you come to London? Prabhupada said, I have not come like other people to beg something. You Britishers, you have, looted India. You have, taken all the precious jewels from India, but you forgot to take the most beautiful and most valuable jewel of spiritual knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. That's what I have come to give. So therefore, Supreme Lord Krishna, he is giving up everything, all the wealth. He's giving up his Lakshmi. He's giving up Vishnu Priya, the most beloved wife. Why? For all of us. So we should be grateful. How much we should be eager to practice what Mahaprabhu has given all of us. That is the only thing which he is expecting. Just accept whatever I am giving. That's all. Nothing else. Just please take the mercy. And many times people don't accept that also. And even after accepting, we don't take it seriously many times. We question, we doubt. Will the process work? Will it help me? So that is how we should be really, really careful, and we should be very, very grateful. So Mahaprabhu is ready to give up everything. Sannyas. Ateva amashyami sannyasa kariba. Sannyasi buddhe more pranata haiba. Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada writes, unfortunately, these caste brahmanas, they do not offer respects to Vaishnava sannyasis. And what to speak of sannyasis from Europe and of America? Prabhupada writes, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu expected all the caste brahmanas to offer him respects. So therefore, Prabhupada was very, very protective. And whenever somebody would speak anything against his disciples, Prabhupada was like a, general protecting all the army and killing the enemies. He writes, sannyasis of Krishna consciousness movement are bona fide. As students of Krishna consciousness movement, they have undergone all the austerities, and Prabhupada gives the detail how all the students, they chant, and then after chanting 16 rounds for some months, then they are given first initiation. Then after some time, when they are sufficiently purified in their activities, following principles nicely, then they are given second initiation. And then if somebody is really serious to spread this mission, then they are given sannyas. Prabhupada quotes from this Hari Bhakti Vilas. Tatha diksha vidhanena dvijatvam jayate nrinam. Just by getting connected to this process of Krishna consciousness, one becomes purified, one becomes a Brahmana. And Prabhupada writes, even if they don't accept, even if they don't offer respects, what can we do? They will suffer. Because the scriptures, they say, Devata pratimam drishtva yatim chaiva tridandinam namaskaram na kuryadya prayaschittiyate naraha. If somebody doesn't offer obeisances after taking darshan of deities of the Lord, or the Supreme Lord, or a sannyasi, he has to practice prayaschitta. What is that prayaschitta? He should fast for a day if he does not offer obeisances. So Mahaprabhu is thinking, at least they'll offer obeisances. And what will happen? Pranatite haibe ihara parada shay nirmala hridaye bhakti koraiba uday. Very, very important. Again and again, Mahaprabhu is thinking, unless they get purified, how can I give bhakti? Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridhavrataha. Unless we give up our sinful activities, sinful tendencies, how can the firm determination to practice bhakti arise in the heart? Pranatite hai behar aparada shay. If they will offer obeisances, all their offenses will be nullified, and then I can give them bhakti. Nirmal hriday bhakti karai bauday. When heart is purified, then it becomes a proper place for bhakti. So thinking like this, Mahaprabhu took sannyas in 1510 from a Shankar Sampradaya, Ekadanda sannyas he took. And there Prabhupada writes that Shankar Sampradaya awards sannyas only to Brahmanas who are born Brahmanas, caste Brahmanas. But Vaishnava Sampradayas, we give sannyas to anyone who is ready to practice the principles. Doesn't matter what is their birth. Aho batshapacho vato garyan yajjihvagre vartate nama tubhyam te pustapaste juhu shashnurarya brahmanucharanam grinanti ete. Anybody, if he is born in the family of dog eaters, if he is chanting the names, he is much better than a Brahmana. So therefore, Prabhupada writes, just by offering obeisances to a sannyasi, one becomes purified of sinful reactions. So the more we offer respects to a sannyasi, the more we get purified. And then Mahaprabhu thinks, Eishava pashandire tabe hoibe nistar, ara kon upai nahi ei yukti sar. Mahaprabhu said, this is the essence of all the arguments. There is no other way to deliver all these people. All these pashandis, all these unfaithful rogues, they will get delivered only by this way. And after deciding this, he continued to stay. After some time, Keshav Bharati came. And Mahaprabhu went, met him. He actually invited him, Keshav Bharati, to his place. He served him, offered his obeisances, and he revealed his heart that I want to take sannyas. And then he said, Sir, you are directly Narayan. Please be merciful to me. Please deliver me from the material bondage. He is very humbly expressing his position. Keshav Bharati, he knew that Nimai is Supreme Lord. He said, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whatever you desire, I have to fulfill that. I cannot do any argument against you. I will do for sure. And then Keshav Bharati went back, and Mahaprabhu on a particular day in 1510, at the end of his 24th year, at the end of the fortnight of the waxing moon, he went to Katwa and he took sannyas from Keshav Bharati Maharaj. And this is very elaborately described in Caitanya Bhagavat. Kaviraj Goswami writes, I have summarized the incidents of Adi Leela. Vrindavan Das Thakur has described in detail. Just Vrindavan Das Thakur tells one thing. When Mahaprabhu was taking sannyas, three personalities were present. Chandrasekhar Acharya, Nityanand Prabhu and Mukunda Dutt. And they made all the arrangements. How Mahaprabhu left his family, how Shachi Mata cried, how he left his wife, what all happened in between, elaborately described in Chaitanya Bhagavat. So we'll stop here. We'll continue next time. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai.